crypto really is a trial by fire, isn't it? Like, you go through a range of emotions. We've all been there. We still continue to if you watch the markets like a hawk, you can experience a whole multitude of emotions. And it's really important to remember that the question you got to ask yourself is 69K Bitcoin the top? Is that the highest it's ever going to get? Do you believe that? And I think that a lot of people here would say no. So, and I'd like to think that. So yeah, in between, it's not a steady slope up to the top. We all know that. In between, it's like peaks and troughs. But I have to say, Jen, TJ, Rise and the community have done a really good job of holding steady, and Rise has been performing very well in that respect. So well done to everybody and the moderators and the community as a whole for kind of reassuring each other. Absolutely brilliant. I've been meaning to ask you what I've never heard of snaps. Is this an LA thing or something? Oh, right, okay. Because I can count on one hand how many times I've been to a theater. Once. I need to do. It was a good experience. I probably should go to more shows.
Director was giving feedback, but we were allowed to oh, hey Storm just joined our
oh no, hey Storm.
Oh no.
We're live on YouTube.
I don't hear anyone.
We're live on YouTube.
Hold on. Hey Storm,
I think you want to link in staff chat for a Zoom call. Just join.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Storm, we can't hear you because we're muted.
Yes.
I don't know if you're speaking, but our computers are muted.
So everyone's mic is muted right now. But we are live streaming to YouTube, so people can hear you.
Oh my God.
I have no idea what's going on.
Hello, Storm.
Hello, Storm. Welcome to the internet.
Jason, I see you're in the same boat as me. I'm watching your face on this.
All right. Well, let us know if you're gonna hang out. Otherwise, I'm gonna hop back into Spaces.
Yeah, sure. Do your thing, guys, and talk to you later.
Look like on YouTube.
Bye-bye.
I'm so curious.
Sounds good.
We've got
echo from one of you. I think Jen.
That was probably me because I was muted on my phone and then unmuted on my laptop talking to Storm. Oh.
There we go. This is the beauty of doing it live, ladies and gentlemen, right now. This is the beautiful thing. Like, this is legit. This is not pre-recorded. Like.
All right. On that note, shall we start taking some questions? What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's do it.
All right. Let's bring up Wealth Finders. Oh, it looks like they fell off. We'll bring up MHK. Oh, no. Wealth Finders just connected. How are you? Good old Twitter Spaces. It doesn't look like you're muted, Wealth Finders. You might have to drop down and come back up. In the meantime, MHK, how's it going? I got radio silence on my end here.
Yeah, everyone. I think either Spaces is acting up or people just really shy tonight.
Well, while we wait for some more people to raise some hands, I actually wanted to share a little something with you guys. So for those of you who are on Twitter, you're going to get to experience what it's like to be in a Zoom call with me because I'm always sharing my screen. But Jason, do you know if my screen is up?
It's up.
Awesome. So earlier today, we posted across our socials a little announcement that we are participating in the Avalanche hackathon, specifically their Asia hackathon that they're doing with Dora Hacks. And, you know, if you can see my screen, you can see here that the duration of this hackathon is for like the next 36 days. Over this period of time, we will be doing a live project demo, very similar to how we did for Binance. But what's really cool about this hackathon specifically is Dora Hacks actually has this thing called a quadratic fund. And it's a portion, basically, like there's the prize pool for the hackathon itself, but then they also have these additional like grant pools, which are, they're calling it quadratic funding. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I don't really know what that means, but I do know it affects the way we have to vote. And so if you guys can see my screen, you'll see currently we are number 1 for top votes and number 2 for community contribution. And then I think this is bugged out for the top matching pool. I'm not too sure why, but generally we're in the top 3 across. And if you guys actually click here, you guys can vote for us for consideration of the quadratic funding, which is a part of this hackathon. So you'll see over here that there's 2 pools in which we can get grant money from. Be sure to vote on both if you can. The votes do cost, it's not, there it is, 0.01 Avalanche. And we would just love your support if you guys are able to do that. So I did want to share that. And with that said, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. But fun little thing, we'll be pushing this on Twitter, Instagram, and you'll start seeing it pop up in our Telegram over and over again. The great news is because we are 36 days out until the end of it, we have a lot of time to just slowly start racking up the votes and continuing to hold our positions in the top 3 on the leaderboard. So back to you, TJ.
Good stuff. Yeah. Thanks, Jen. We'll bring it back to the floor for some questions. I see Kelly is requested, so we'll bring Kelly up. And if anyone has any questions or wants to pop up and say anything, feel free to raise your hand. Kelly, how's it going today?
It's going well. How are you?
Doing very well, thank you.
Glad to hear. I just wanted to see if there was any word on the NFTs. If you've already talked about or announced it, my apologies.
Ooh, NFTs.
So
Jason, I'll let you take that one. Or
where do
Jen,
I start with the NFTs?
Jason, why don't you start with what you're doing this week for the reward NFTs?
Well, they're all being rendered. All of the
how many?
A lot of them.
It's like what, 144 different designs?
Yeah, it's a lot. So, you know, like I said, the reward NFTs are designed. I just need rendering out. There's, you know, just a multitude of things around the NFTs that like I'm really excited for. I'm excited for the community to kind of, you know, to obtain them, to collect them, show them off. And, you know, it's just, you know, just another like branch in terms of direction that EverRise has kind of got, you know, that we can look at later on, you know, this year. There's, you know, TJ knows a lot more about NFTs than probably I do. And I know that David as well. Like, NFTs aren't going away, and they're certainly getting more and more exposure out there. And I certainly think that, you know, us getting onto the NFTs right, like from this point on, is a real awesome like, you know, branch from branching out from where we're doing, you know, giving the community something to kind of collect. And, you know, there's a lot to come, guys. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to show you, you know, and, you know, we're really excited. All of us are really excited for you guys to get your hands on those NFTs.
Yeah. So Kelly, and just to kind of, touch on a few things that Jason said. So with regards to the staking NFTs, we are rendering those out, and we'll start working on deployment and implementation of like how you guys will receive them as we continue to revise and address our staking contract. First and foremost, in terms of development, the priorities are fixing EverStake. We're currently working with a couple of different third parties, as well as, other developers that are trusted and are kind of helping us with the insight, as well as our audit partners on that. So timing on that, we can't say yet because we don't have a definitive time frame, but that is like internally the top priority that's happening right now in terms of development. And then very closely following it and happening in tandem with us addressing EverStake is we're wrapping up EverSwap for launch to start onboarding other projects. And so between those two things, the development team they have their plates full, more or less. But once we once we completely address the EverStake issue that we ran into, that's kind of when we'll start shifting our focus back to NFTs and making sure that, all the NFTs that you guys are supposed to get, you do get.
All right, that sounds great. Thank you so much. Appreciate all of you.
We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Long story short is good things come to those who wait. Like, it's a lot of really cool, exciting things coming, guys.
I totally agree. I don't like the win Lambo mentality.
Me neither.
I don't know.
Thanks again.
I'm looking at Jason's face. He's like, I don't know. I kind of want a Lambo.
Literally, I'm 6'3". A Lambo is probably the most impractical car I can think of right now. I want a Tesla.
I'd rather wait and get the Bugatti.
No.
Kelly has taste.
I'm not a car person. My goal in life is to own a Tesla, and I know that TJ's got one. So you've got to my goal, TJ. So well done to you.
Well, I want to get a Model S Plaid. That's my dream car.
I've seen those.
But you know what? There's one thing I've learned is there's more important things than cars. I got a little Model 3. I love it. No gas, but when I can take some good money, I'll probably definitely put it into a property. Definitely, actually. That's everything I don't have in crypto. I'm fiat broke, I just don't. I'm in Canada, right? And what's going on in Canada right now with, it's circulating all over the place with the emergency order or whatever they're calling it. And to me, it's another reason why crypto is so important. So, that's a whole other conversation. I could speak on a tangent about that for hours, but I don't want to get too off track here. So we'll bring up Emma.
I just want to say thank you to Kelly again for that question, because I know a lot of people have been asking about them, and I know a lot of people have been patient. It seems like it's been a long time, December, January, now we're into February, but everything's got to be laid out in a certain order, and believe me, when it is, it'll all be worth it. I can promise you that much. So thank you.
I agree, but when you think about the onset of EverRise to where we are now, that's insane. It's just phenomenal how much you've gotten done in such a short period of time. It's unbelievable.
Thank you, Kelly.
Have a good one.
I don't think Jason or Jen or I can take full credit for that. That hats off to the dev team on that one. They're able to pump out.
Can we let people know that we've recently expanded?
Yeah. Go ahead, Zane.
I think you just did.
I know. How do I say it without? Yeah, we've expanded. We've expanded out the dev team a bit. So we've taken on someone new, and they bring a lot of experience to the table. And it just, again, it's just a testament to what we're doing right now, what we're building right now. Like I go to the meetings, I hear what's being built. I see what's being built. I see the UI that Minty is doing. I literally, my head explodes. Like, guys, I cannot tell you now, like the work that's being done behind the scenes, it's like it would take other other teams months and months and months, like maybe even over a year. So, you know, I'm constantly blown away by the work. And obviously, you know, our priority, as Jen said, is to get the staking back up and running. But there's so much other things that are coming. You know about the Mystery D app, you know, that's still a mystery. So, you know, I've got like, sometimes I have to like think ahead of what I'm saying because there's so much that we can't say just yet. But yeah, anyway, don't want to hype it up too much, but it's going to be great.
Yes, we have a lot of developers doing development work, because I think anytime you're bringing utility or products, you know, obviously a lot goes into the planning around it, like figuring out what the use cases are and mapping out a couple of different scenarios. But I think something that has kind of just been the internal mentality of EverRise is let's build. We'll build and we'll iterate as we go, because there's so many things that it's like we can spend all the time in the world planning for, you know, a new dApp and walking through all these different scenarios and making sure that, you know, there's not a single point of failure. But also it's just so important to get it out of just like the test net and into like the main net, because once you're in main net, between gas, traffic, like there are so many things that can happen that cause unexpected problems. So it's really awesome that we now have another person on the dev team doing development work. And I'm excited because I just feel like, you know, this is going to maybe ramp up our pace a little bit more. I didn't think it was possible for us to go any faster than we already do, but we'll see, knock on wood.
Well, it certainly allows us to work at multiple things at the same time, which is again something which is a real great benefit in such a fast-moving space, and you know, with a community that's come to expect so much, you know, from the team. So, yeah, have we got anyone else with their hands up?
I don't see anyone. Myself, Jen.
I've got a question on YouTube if you'd like me to ask it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Skydiver Mo. He's asked, we need an update on the big one numbers. If we've passed the 600 wallets or close, so we can push for more people on Telegram and Twitter.
So I don't have an exact number for that, but I know we're not there yet. So continue to push. Absolutely. Big One has been incredibly supportive of us. You know, they were the first exchange to actually come out and publicly state, EverRise, we hear you, we're letting you in. That's massive. You know, everyone's been working tirelessly, tweeting their heads off and sharing great content over the last, you know, week and a half, 2 weeks that this Inu movement's been going on. So to get something back like that is great. I'm still working on some more, but, you know, I'll leave it there. But as far as Big One goes, we definitely still need some signups. So if you haven't, sign up, deposit 20,000 Rise. The exact tax number is on their website. So just make sure that I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but you will have to send a little bit more than 20,000 in. But yeah, everything helps. So if you can, please make an account, and you know, we'd appreciate it, and the community would appreciate it a lot. I see Valios requested. I'll bring you up.
I think it works out to $25. Don't quote me on it, but I think it's around $25.
Yeah, around $25. Yeah. Hey, Valios.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me. Wonderful to see that Jen is back. Great to hear your voice, Jen. And I just wanted to ask the team, well, first of all, just say that the community loves our Inu mascot. Community is very excited about it. And I just wanted to ask if you guys are at liberty to talk about it, if we're planning to, you know, have it join our ecosystem permanently, you know, have the little Inu mascot, you know, be part of our lore and our history, and what can we do with it?
So I'll let TJ take this, but what I will say is, you know, it's not going to be our branding permanently. Like we've said that from the beginning. This was just a temporary rebrand on Twitter for a social media campaign. But we are planning on, you know, launching out a web page talking about Let Us In, And we've talked about a couple of different ways that we can actually incorporate the EverRise Inu into our ecosystem in ways that, you know, it's not so much at the forefront, but it's a fun thing for our community to have. So I'll leave it at that. And then TJ.
Jen, I think you took that pretty well, to be honest. I don't even think you have to hand it off to me after that. I mean, yeah, the Inu movement was great. It still is great. I love it. Obviously, it doesn't speak to who we are as a company. You know, at the end of the day, we're still EverRise. If anyone doesn't know about the Inu movement by now, it's a social media campaign targeting essentially centralized exchanges who list meme coins over utility. And, you know, the numbers and what we've seen from the community from this movement is, you know, it pretty much solidified the fact that we cannot go and just remove it from existence completely. You know, it is a cute little mascot. You know, it brought a lot of people closer together that, you know, may not have been close before. So we definitely want to keep it around somewhere in the back, not in the forefront, don't worry. But I think the Inu movement and, you know, Jason's fun little Inu graphics and this whole thing that started off as a joke, Jason sent to staff chat. It will live on in one way or another. You know, I think
it's a part of our history now.
Exactly. I think you can pump out a few Inu graphics here and there over the course of time just for, you know, Throwback Thursday or something. But there's definitely ways we can work it into the ecosystem, just not at the forefront as soon as it's done. I'll leave it at that. I think for now that's a decent answer until we actually do something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much. That's excellent.
Thanks, Valios. Hope you have a great day, my friend. Fish.
You too. Thank you.
My main man, Fish, who was in an Inu graphic with me, might I add. Fish, what's going on?
Hey, just wanted to say hi, everybody.
Hey, Fish.
Hi.
Hey, Fish.
Hey, so I'm going to do a little self-promotion. Tonight is the night. I'm performing EverRise music in about 8 hours.
2202.
You got it.
It's the one.
Fish, can you put out a tweet with the link so that we're prepared to retweet it? I want as many of the community members to watch as possible. It deserves an audience of 1 million people.
I have tweeted it and pinned it to my profile.
I'm going to pin it in this group. Hold on. There we go. It's up top. You know, if anyone doesn't know Fish has been a community member from the beginning. Fish, how many songs have you written about EverRise?
Oh, geez. It's over 100 now.
Wow. I didn't even realize it was that much. That's crazy.
Now, to be fair, some of them are like
TJ,
5 seconds long.
TJ, if you ever need a ghostwriter.
For real, yeah. But
my superpower only works with EverRise, though. It doesn't work with anything else.
Well, you know what? I'm not complaining, so keep it up. And folks, if you're not sure what we're talking about, Fish is going to be doing a live performance tonight at 10:30 Eastern. He's going to be singing songs about EverRise live to an audience, live streamed on the internet. It's going to be fantastic, like it always is. I can't wait to watch it. I hope you guys join me. Let's just have some fun and support one of our risers.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, TJ. Thank everyone for always supporting me. I appreciate it so much. That's all I got. Thanks, guys.
Always. Thank you, Fish. Appreciate it. Retweet Poppy. That name.
I just have to call this out. We went from Reflection Poppy, Staking Poppy, to now, is it Retweet Poppy, or did I miss one? Was there another evolution there?
I think you got it right.
I think so too.
It's like if you have a Charmander and it goes into the next one and then it's a Charizard. It's great.
Charmeleon is the middle one.
Thank you. I totally blanked.
Retweet Poppy, what's going on?
What's going on, guys? Good to hear
How we doing?
Jen, glad that you made it through that procedure, you know, in one piece. Not that it was a big one. You guys, I was just thinking that you know, I really had fun with the Inu. I'm still having fun with it, and I heard you guys mention that you try to keep it around in like a fun way or something like that. I was thinking, you know, how we kind of turn the Kraken into this thing. Like we will say things like well, we have to wait till the Kraken buys back, and the Kraken's filling up, the Kraken's stomach. Maybe the Inu dog is the one that passes out the NFTs. You know, I'm just just thinking out loud. You know, we could kind of make it. It's like there, but it's not in the front. It's kind of like, okay, did you get your Plankton NFT? The Enu's gonna bring it to you or something like that. I don't know. We can play with it to kind of keep it around. I don't know. Just thinking out loud. Sounds silly as I speak about it.
No, all I have to say is I really, really like your train of thought, and beyond that, I can't really say anything else.
I mean,
I thought Jason
I think that, like, I can say right now, there will be a connection with Rise and the Inu that goes beyond this Twitter campaign. There's been some internal talks about what we could potentially do in the future. Some really cool things that the devs have got the ability to do. So all I can say, I know it's frustrating, but just watch this space, because like at the moment, our priority, as we know, is to get the staking back online. But some really super cool stuff is coming this year, in the next few months. So that's all I can really say. But yeah, the Inu will still be around in a sense that it will have a connection to the project. It's a part of our history. A lot of people found out about EverRise because of the Inu. They wouldn't have come anywhere near us. They wouldn't have noticed if it hadn't have been for the Let Us In movement or the EverRise Inu hashtag. Like, so it's such an important thing that we don't just discard. It's a part of our history now. And yeah, there will be a connection moving forward of some type.
Well said.
But yeah, great suggestion though, Valius. Retweet, Puppy, sorry.
I don't see any more hands raised.
Thanks, guys.
No problem, my man. Hope you have a great day.
Seth Duke on YouTube has said, can you comment on the DApps UI changes? Are they being delayed because of Everstake?
So, hold on, let me clear my throat here. I'm just kidding. It's not being delayed because of Everstake, but we are trying. So, hold on, I'm trying to figure out how I want to answer this. Okay, I don't know how many of you guys were here when I first came on board in the position that I'm currently in, but the thought around product launches and anytime we did anything with the product was we wanted to generate some sort of event out of it, some sort of big event. That's why we did like those really fun product launches where, majority of the core team would come on video. We would have little segments. We'd talk about it. It'd be followed by an cool AMA. We do like a live demo and all of that stuff. And, I think the idea was right and the idea was there, but I also look at kind of where EverRise was as a company. Our community wasn't as big. It also isn't as engaged as our community is today. So we're going to bring that element back when it comes to product launches or any updates that are happening with products. I'll go back to what I said earlier of what the top 2 development priorities are right now. First, obviously, being Everstake. The second one being EverSwap and being able to onboard projects. And as you guys know, EverSwap is currently technically in a beta. So I'm going to leave it at that with we want to turn anything related to product launches, product updates into events. And that the second thing on our dev priority list is EverSwap. And those are the clues that I have for you. And maybe you can connect the dots on what we're going to be doing there.
Well done, said. Jen. Well done, Jen. I like that.
I don't see any hands raised at the moment. Any questions on YouTube, Jason? Anyone in the audience wants to come up, say hi, ask a question, feel free. There are no bad questions.
No real questions at the moment. So SE saying that they're excited for the bridgeable NFTs. Yes, we're excited for that too.
I was going to ask, if I may.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, we're building a lore here. We're building, like, we have music, we have artists, we have Jason, we have the mascot, soon the NFTs. So we're building a huge, a history book, or so this could be eventually, as a suggestion, maybe we could start having an artist or artists, put together the lore of EverRise.
I was actually gonna say, I think that'd be so cool. And I was actually thinking a little bit of something along those lines when Fish was like, I wrote over 100 EverRise songs. I was like, feel like we could for sure turn this into a musical of some sort, But,
amazing. I love it.
Fish, you should work with Wojak and do something like that. Because I don't know if you guys have seen, but Wojak is a community member. He makes funny EverRise animations on YouTube, and they're hilarious. I love them. Every time one comes out, I literally watch it 6 times. It's so funny, just because of how it's read off by a computer. So like one of those computer robots. So the things the computer says, it's just hilarious. You got to watch it. We've tweeted them here and there.
I love it too.
Yeah, I think that could be an epic collaboration to that point, Valios. I really do.
I love that idea.
Yes.
Fantastic.
You guys got to connect and put something epic out.
I have one more quick question.
Yeah, of course.
Is that okay? Okay, I didn't want to be a mic hog. My other question, excuse me, in regards to the, various exchanges and EverRise Inu, have we invited any of the exchanges for like a roundtable discussion, anything like that, or is that too far-fetched?
It's not too far-fetched. I will say that we have definitely talked to multiple exchanges about coming on and having live discussions with us in the community, and just even if we were just to talk about DeFi and crypto in general. It's not, I think it's also, it's a little hard, right? Because it's on one hand, it's we just want to build community and educate and start conversations out there. That's the whole reason why, with DeFi Talks, we're inviting all these different protocols. It doesn't matter if you're a Metaverse project or another utility project, or a mainnet. We want to have conversations with you. We do want to extend those types of conversations to exchanges, but oftentimes, we're fortunate enough to be in conversation with some of these exchanges. We throw these nuggets out there, and it's really, I guess I'll say, the ball is in their court of whether they want to come or not.
Okay, gotcha. Thanks, Jen.
No problem, Kelly.
One thing I've learned about exchanges is they are very, very busy. They're talking to hundreds of projects. They're essentially, the fact is we have a real good relationship with the exchanges that we're speaking to, and our focus has been on demonstrating our community's presence and our community's energy. Really, that's what they wanted to kind of see, and I think that over the last few weeks, they've been very impressed with the levels of energy and the message that's been put out by our community. We've always said that, it's not about us. It's not about the developers. It's not about the staff. It's about the community, because the community is the lifeblood of a project. So if they see the communities out there talking about the projects, being active in, and essentially allowing us to even trend, is a massive thing that, these exchanges see. I would argue that they're far more likely to see that than they are to go on our website and look through all of our DApps and find out about a project. They're far more likely to find out about our project from a graphic that someone posts on Twitter. And that's just the nature of the beast. And you guys have been rocking it. And we would always welcome exchanges to join us on a roundtable. We think this subject is really important. But yeah, the ball is definitely in their court. We can't force that type of conversation, but we want to draw attention to that type of conversation. And I think that's what you guys have done such a good job of.
So how do we change the narrative?
I think we're starting to open people's eyes a little bit. So it's a case of just, again, it's just making sure it doesn't die down after a few days, making sure that the message is clear. It's not just EverRise that feels that the same way, that, that utility is being overlooked. I think that the only way we can change the narrative is by sustained, messaging that we feel that the playing field needs to be more level for projects that are looking to build utility, as opposed to just generating hype. And I think that message is starting to get through.
Sorry, Jason, I didn't mean to cut you off, but just to add on to what you're saying, the thing is like, it has to be so much bigger than just our community, right? Like EverRise, we have an amazing community. All of you risers out there, like the fact that we trended multiple times in the past 2 weeks, like absolutely blows my mind. Like trending on Twitter, especially in the United States, is not something that's easy to do. And we've accomplished it multiple times. Like, one, we need to keep that up, but two, we also need more projects to come together and be on the same page and be behind the movement. Because when you look at how many, you have to like look at these exchanges and understand that they make money like off of, one, listing fees, right? Listing onboarding fees, but two, their bread and butter is the transaction fees off of every single trade that comes through that exchange. And then, so if you have that, and then you zoom out a little bit, how many daily active users are on these exchanges, and how many people are trading crypto on these exchanges? How much money are these exchanges making because of the millions and millions of people that are doing trades daily on their exchanges, right? And this is where I think the movement, well, not even the movement, I think this is where seeing centralization in the decentralized finance space is so frustrating, because it's almost recreating this capitalistic system that we've been trying to get away from. Like, that's why we're all...
Exactly. That's my point.
And I'm on the same page as you, Kelly. I think it's like, one, for us to really make a difference, we need way more people. We need millions of people to understand that, this is the exact system we're trying to get away from, first and foremost. And I think this goes back to a point that you guys have heard me iterate over and over again, but education, right? Like, we just need to get people more educated and understanding the technology, the possibilities, and how it can be implemented into the real world. So I think that's one aspect of it. I think the other aspect that will be interesting is seeing what roles regulations play in, like what roles do governments take in how these crypto platforms are run. Like, we still don't totally know. We're starting to see, some things from some countries, but overall it's not black and white. It's very gray. And I just, I don't know if I'm being a little naive or too optimistic, but I just really hope that people realize that in order to move away from the system that's already broken, that has been built to only benefit the top 1%, and for everyone else, you're at a disadvantage, that something radically needs to change. And so coming over to DeFi is our opportunity for that radical change. And if people continue to just, be like, oh, this is okay, well, I'm making money, the same system's just going to happen again. And we're going to see, potentially within the span of decentralized finance taking off, we're probably going to see it plummet. People are going to call it a scam, as they already have. And it's going to be a long-term adoption curve. Like, it's not going to be something that happens in the next 2 years. It's going to be something that I think we'll see how it plays out, like, over the next decade, 2 decades, 3 decades. And, let's see where we are 30, 40 years from now. And I think the hope and the idea is, I don't know if you have kids, but like, your kids and their kids and their kids' kids can live in a world that's not,
Exactly.
You're not bound by other rules of centralization, and essentially, with what Jen said, I mean, I disagree. I don't think it's going to be decades. I don't think it's going to be that long. I think that the evidence shows that more VCs, more institutions, more banks are researching DeFi, and they're looking to get a slice of the pie. I feel that they're going to come in to DeFi and they're going to start establishing their own sort of like gateway into DeFi under the guise of DeFi, but really it's not DeFi. Like if you look at like a lot of the projects in DeFi right now, like there is centralization issues all over the place. So we're really still trying to find the identity of DeFi, the true identity, and utilizing a DAO or a product like EverOwn is a solution for that. And I think that it's just going to. I think DeFi is still in this process of just feeling itself out and trying to find an identity. But I do think that I do think adoption's going to come a lot quicker than what you think.
I mean, I think adoption can totally come. Like we're seeing it, like year over year, it's growing by 1-2% globally. But like I think
it's going to be exponential at this point.
But I think my point is, to Jason's point, you're talking about VCs, banks, and institutional money coming into the space, and obviously that's still built on the old system. Like ultimately these institutional players are coming in to see how much money they can make in this short term while DeFi regulations are still kind of unclear. Like that's my personal opinion.
Right. Like, will they be a cancer instead of something positive?
Exactly. And like I have friends that work at VC funds, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like I think, we've even been kind of exploring the idea of like, what would it look like for us to talk to VCs? Like, does it even make sense for us to do that right now? Because like, quite frankly, we don't need to, right? We've been able to bootstrap the project so far and it's going really, really well, but you never know. Like, I think never say never, but it's something that I think about is like, okay, well, if VCs are coming in and if they're either purchasing tokens, and let's say that project, it's using a DAO, and so the tokens provide governance. If like VCs come in and buy up majority of the tokens, like they kind of hold the keys there. Or if they're investing in companies and taking portions of that company's shares, like how much power do they hold? Like you have to kind of look at the numbers. I think it's a case by case basis, but like this is why I say, I'm like, yeah, we can see rapid adoption over the next 5 years, but if we zoom out to that 50,000 foot view, it's still going to be minuscule compared to what global adoption looks like. And this is why I say I think it's going to take decades. Like I got into VR in 2014, and that was like the year that Facebook acquired Oculus for $2 billion, and that was a space that I worked in for I think like 5 years. It feels like a decade. It feels like that whole experience aged me quite a bit. But I remember like even in 2015, we're all like, oh, mass adoption by 2020, and by 2025, there's going to be millions of headsets and a headset in every home. And it's like, we're in 2022 and we're nowhere near close to the numbers that all these like futurists were predicting back in 2015. And I think it's going to be the same for DeFi. I think all emerging technology, there's a longer adoption curve than what majority of people project. But I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I just think it might take a minute before we see like this utopian decentralized finance space that I know a lot of us want to see.
I mean, a lot of it does depend again on how countries like view crypto and how quickly they begin to regulate. Because like regulations are going to be the key to adoption, and if like the rhetoric that we're seeing from like Russia and South America and places in the world like that are trying to lead, like, and a lot of Africa as well. The more sovereign states adopt crypto and take on Bitcoin as a legal tender, I think that the more the kind of the touch paper gets lit essentially, and then all of a sudden adoption starts to happen. And I agree with Andrea in the YouTube. It's like when it does happen, it's going to happen quick. It's just a case of when will that spark really ignite. And I think a lot of everybody here right now, I mean, DeFi is built by the people for the people. That's what it should be about. That is what it in every sense of the form. Like, this is what it's about. And you know, at the moment, it's the Wild West. Everyone must take care. But you know, for a worldwide adoption, there's going to have to be regulations, and there's going to have to be you know, teamwork between centralized and decentralized projects and platforms. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing that built out right in front of us right now.
Absolutely. I'm going to jump in here quick because we're getting a little bit off track here. We have 10 minutes left. Peter, I know you're up here. Thank you for your patience, my friend. How's it going?
Hey, I'm good. Hello, everyone. I came up at a time when there were no questions and just had a small point. But to the extent I want to stay on topic, I do believe that long-term adoption is a big question. And it is a question of whether the people themselves demand accountability from centralized institutions. Like, if there's mass adoption, but that means you have decentralized finance brought to you by TD Bank, which is altogether possible, then we really have achieved nothing. So it becomes, to the extent I have a point, like, it's up to us individually to educate our peers who are not in the space on how to make this protocol work for everyone. So the initial point I had when I came up here was, many of us might not be thrilled about signing up for Big One and creating a brand new KYC for ourselves when we already have several accounts, etc. This is a great opportunity to get with your no-coin friends and say, hey, look, remember this EverRise thing I've been obsessed with for 7 months? I'll send you some. All you have to do is sign up for this account over on Big One. And we all need that centralized choke point. And because Big One has shown a willingness to partner with DeFi, I think it's a great chance to get people on their first platform, get them buying EverRise, and then when they're ready, saying, well, look, like, do you want to actually own these tokens or not? Here's how you move them off the exchange. So if you're like me and you're very reticent to put your face on anything, this is a great chance for the no-coiners to come on board, get their first exchange. Big One seems quite legit. So just another way to help the project is something that occurred to me.
Good point.
Well said as always, Peter.
Yeah, it's a great point, what he said, because I had the same feeling about creating another KYC coming from a DeFi wallet, but he made a great point about bringing no-coiners on. Great point. But warning, stay away from buzzwords that are divisive, okay? And I'm starting to hear these undertones that are political, and thank you, TJ, for jumping in when you did, because I got my finger on the sell button every time Jen speaks and she starts talking about, you know, this buzzword and that buzzword. So it is very divisive. I'm not a fan. I'm a page 2 holder. I don't like it. So stay on topic. We are EverRise. What we do is fantastic. There are many DApps that are coming to the rescue. That's what we need to do. This is not a platform for any bag holder to discuss their political leanings or anything that ties in with their confirmation bias. So that's all I got to say.
Thanks, Crypto Mansion. Appreciate it. Gambit Exchange will bring you up. Hey, Gambit.
Hey, how you guys doing, man? Thanks for hosting the weekly AMA.
Absolutely. Thanks for popping by.
Absolutely, brother. I just popped in, man. So give me a few minutes to kind of consolidate my thoughts on what I'd like to ask. But give me just a second, and I'd love to rotate back in.
Absolutely, no problem. We are going to wrap this up though in about 6 minutes. Just a heads up.
Got a question from Laroug on YouTube asking about, does EverRise see an opportunity in the Metaverse world There's no question that EverRise grows rapidly, being focused on security. Maybe there's an area that EverRise could help in that space. Yeah.
So I mean, the way that we see, the way things are right now, we're not going to go build our own metaverse. However, can our tools be used to keep people safe in the metaverse? Yes. Are we open to building tools specifically for the metaverse? If the space does take off as it's intended, and like everyone sees the metaverse being the next big thing, we want to be there. If we want it, we build it. So yes, it's a possibility. Anything is really a possibility. That's one thing I want to say. And if you're a long-term holder, you've seen things go from idea to development to release within the span of months. So if the metaverse is in need for some sort of security, let me put it this way: security exploits happen all the time in this space, right? It's a brand new space. People don't necessarily know all the ins and outs, and you might think you're experienced, but there's always someone more experienced who might come along and find an exploit. Let's say there's a big issue with the metaverse or security or safety in the metaverse. If we're able to develop something that can improve it and help people sleep at night, knowing that their funds are safe, no problem. We can always build it, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. We get the metaverse question pretty often, and the answer is always going to be the same. We're not exclusive to just one area. If there's something that we can help with and keep people safe, we're going to do it. Just all in due time, and when the space calls for a need for it, we can be there if need be.
Absolutely, and we're well positioned to do that. We've got the developers that can do that, and our whole team has different expertise and levels of expertise in different parts of crypto, and certainly Metaverse is something which we are paying close attention to, and we're well aware of that space, and never say never. Absolutely, if we want it, we'll build it.
Yep. Hope that answers that question. Gambit, yes, your hand is up. How are you?
Good, sir. So I was wondering, what advice would you have for those of us that are kind of in the mining community preparing for proof of stake, and basically those of us who are kind of like leveraging proof of work. What advice would you guys have for those of us that would like? Any thoughts there would be awesome.
I think you just got out your car and it switched to a different microphone. So it just cut out before we got the actual the point of the question. So could you just repeat that?
Yeah, switch over. Thanks, guys. I was going to say stake versus proof of work. Based on working with the EverRise project, and what benefits do you see there for, if any, and just laying out any thoughts you guys have on what we could be doing to work better.
So I'm not quite sure I understand the question. So obviously, what can EverRise do to improve how miners interact with proof of work, and essentially, I mean, we're a token, right? So we don't have our own blockchain. So we run on BNB chain. We are obviously, which is not proof of work, and we obviously run on Ethereum, which is. So again, I think that I don't really have anything I can say on that. TJ or Jen, I mean, I don't think I understood the question that much. Could you rephrase it?
Yeah, so I would say without having a blockchain, you guys have your own token, but it's not mineable, is what I'm assuming, correct?
Correct. We have a fixed supply.
That answers that question. Okay, and my question basically was like to the mining community, you know what I mean? Do you guys see any future or any ideas you have around, kind of working with the mining community? But
right. Yeah, so I think Jen's got a great answer for this. Just going to throw you into this, Jen. When you explain about EverRise being like multi-chain, multi-network, and like how we're positioned to kind of provide a service and utility to those blockchains as opposed to being our own blockchain.
Yeah, I mean, Jason, I think you kind of covered it. What I will say is, like, currently right now, we, like, in all honesty, we don't have any plans in our development roadmap to work with miners directly, but it's not to say that it could never not happen, if that makes sense. Like, you never know, like, maybe one day we'll see a need for a solution within the mining community, and it might make sense for us to build something. Or who knows, maybe one day, if we ever do go to our own blockchain and, you know, we want to have the proof of stake network and all of that stuff, like, we could potentially engage with miners. But that to say, you never know, maybe in the future, but we're happy to be in touch.
I mean, in the long term, it may actually make sense for us to have our own blockchain, and that's certainly not off the table. And I know that, you know, we've got, again, the people in our team that are able to do such work. But again, our focus really is on fleshing out the ecosystem, building the DApps that we've publicly announced to a high standard, and to, you know, to really kind of bridge blockchains and give support and security to those users, both developers and to end users, really. But absolutely right. I mean, what Jen said, I mean, if we identify a way that we can help and offer utility to a demographic within blockchain, then certainly we'll look at that.
Well said, both of you. I have nothing to add to that. Literally nothing.
Sorry, Jen. I remember you answered a question very similar to, like, just explaining it, like the way that so I threw it onto you. Sorry, Jen.
I mean, no, you did it beautifully, Jason. It's like, it's almost like we're speaking telepathically now.
You're telling me what to do. It's just beaming in. I love it. Teleprompter. Right.
Awesome. On that note, guys, it is after 3. We do have a lot of work to do. I just want to remind everybody that 10:30 tonight, Fish is going to be playing an open mic, singing all the songs he wrote about EverRise. That's going to be amazing. I can't wait to watch. I hope all of you join me for that. You know, support the brother. He's truly a special gem to this community. And you know, we're really grateful for you, Fish. On that note, guys, I hope everyone has a wonderful day. We'll be in Telegram. Please check the pinned tweet above here as well about the Avalanche hackathon that we are participating in. We will have continuous updates over the course of the next month on that. And then without further ado, Jason or Jen, if you have anything to add before we close out.
No.
Just
beautiful job.
Keep it up on Twitter, guys. Keep retweeting, keep liking, keep sharing the message that we're putting out. And thank you all of you for all the support. And I look forward to doing this again with you guys next week on camera and the daily AMAs.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Take care, guys.